drop the beat. Let me tell you a story about a man named Felix, straight out of the old school, here to reveal the facts. Yo, hold up, what's the 411 on this cat? He's a cop watcher, a truth teller, laying it all bare, shining a light on injustice, showing he just don't care about their intimidation tactics, that twisted up lies. He's got a camera in their face, watching with his own eyes. Going down the street in my hoopty, feeling the bass, see them blue and reds flashing, all up in my space. Another traffic stop, another power trip display. License and registration is all they ever say, but I know my rights, see I ain't no fool. They wanna play games, but I'm keeping my cool. I don't answer questions, that's my opening line. Got them frustrated, messing with their whole design. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen with a smirk and a sneer? Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked cop, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. Let's talk about officer safety, a tired old excuse for violating liberties and all.
All right, what's up, everybody? How are you? I'm going to play this video from Lackluster so you can get an idea of who this guy is. It was a while back, but this guy is absolutely amazing at what he does and what he did following this racketeering scheme they tried to pull on him. What's up, Prometheus? What's up, East Los Audits? Tyrant Auditor, what's up, everybody? Let this play. I'm going to mute my microphone, and he'll be on at 4 o'clock. I'm going to send him a link right now.
For a BS ticket, literally.
What's that?
5 seconds ago.
Is that a monkey?
Yes.
You're in possession of.
Is that a monkey? Sorry, was that a monkey? Jesus.
Unlawful possession of a monkey in the state of Georgia, and I'm fixing to get DNR to come out here. So you can either answer them to me or you can answer them to DNR. It don't make no difference to me. And it's either that or go to jail for obstruction.
You don't want to answer any of my questions. I don't want to answer yours. Just sit right there.
Where are you taking that monkey? Well, I got you on camera right on the bumper of that car. I was going to give you a warning, but if you want to...
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In October of 2024, Ray from the YouTube channel Thabo and Ray were driving across Georgia. Thabo is a monkey and was caged in the vehicle for the ride as the two traveled from North Carolina to Florida after hurricanes destroyed their region. While passing through Dooley County, Deputy Stephen Peavy pulled up alongside Ray's vehicle and peered inside. Seconds later, Peavy slowed down and got behind Ray to initiate a traffic stop.
South 111 with a Black Ford Expedition, Florida, David Zulu Whiskey. Wait, Florida.
Once stopped, Deputy Peavy approached Ray's vehicle from the passenger side.
How's it going? Just back off that tractor trailer, okay? You're way too close. You got your license on you?
Peavy notices the cages in the rear and begins asking questions.
Goodness, how many dogs you got? You got a dog?
Half a monkey.
Ray, while maintaining a polite demeanor, asserts his rights as an American, making it clear that he will not discuss anything beyond the scope
His rights and as an American, they don't play that game in Georgia.
of the stop. But instead of invoking a sense of patriotism in Peavy, Ray's decision to exercise these uniquely American rights seems to provoke him. And it's at this point that Peavy likely starts plotting ways to make Ray's life more difficult. This is the very tyranny our founding fathers warned us about.
Where are you taking that monkey? Taking it for somebody?
I'm sorry?
You taking it for somebody?
I'm just kind of anything to help you outside the scope of the stop. I'm just going to stick to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions with that?
I was just out of curiosity. You ain't in no trouble.
Okay.
Unless you're doing something illegal.
No, I'm just anything outside the scope of the stop. That's something I'm going to
Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of the scope of the stop, though.
I don't believe that I'll too close.
Okay, well, I got you on camera right on the bumper of that car. Okay, but I was going to give you a warning, but if you want to...
Peavy trails off in the middle of a sentence that began with, quote, "I was going to give you a warning, but if you want to." From his unfinished statement, it's reasonable to infer that Peavy was implying that he had the power to retaliate with a citation if Ray chose to exercise his rights as an American citizen. Peavy had initially stopped Ray for allegedly following a semi-truck too closely, but the dashcam footage from just before the stop clearly shows this wasn't the case, and the true motive behind pulling over Ray remains open to speculation.
I was going to give you a warning, but if you want to... Okay, well, I don't care what you believe. I got on camera that you were out too close. You got to give at least a couple of car lengths. You were less than a car length off the back of that tractor trailer.
Okay, well,
okay?
respect your opinion, but I disagree.
Okay, it's not my opinion. It's a fact.
All right, well,
Okay, well, hang tight for me, okay? Your license isn't legible.
Absolutely not a fact at all. A cop wouldn't know a fact if it punched him in the face.
Your license isn't legible.
That's the license that I have valid.
Okay, hang tight for me.
As Peavy returns to his cruiser, it's clear that Ray's license is perfectly legible. Despite this, PV proceeds to issue a criminal citation for following too closely, a vague charge left open to officer discretion. The consequences for such can be severe, including 3 points on your record, a license suspension, and even a year in jail. Finally, after printing his citation, PV mutes his microphone and makes a phone call.
Time to conspire.
Though the call only lasted 4 minutes, it unnecessarily prolonged the stop. However, it's not just the delay that's concerning, it's who PV may have called, and the possible reason behind it that makes this situation truly outrageous.
All right, sir. So citation for your traffic offense. You can take care of it online or through the mail, or you can go online, or you can come to court on November the 19th, okay? You be careful for me, okay? You have a great day.
Ray continued down the highway, again making his way towards Florida. Within a couple minutes, he entered Turner County, where Deputy Justin Partain sat, pulled over on the edge of the highway. Deputy Partain finally sees Ray's vehicle and immediately initiates a traffic stop.
Because the other swine called him ahead of time.
How about it, man? You got your license with you?
Why was I pulled over?
I'm just waiting until you get your driver's license.
Okay.
Mr. Feet, is it feast or face? How you say that?
I was just pulled over for a BS ticket literally
What's that?
5 seconds ago.
What'd you get a ticket for?
Y'all are
What'd you get a ticket for? As if I didn't receive the call.
here doing, you know.
Whoa, not you guys. Just because we're inbred and our sister is also our mother and our cousin doesn't mean you get to say you guys, okay?
Nah,
No,
I can't
this
be
is
held
ridiculous.
accountable.
This
Can't control myself.
was 5 minutes ago, and that's a BS ticket.
Okay, well, I didn't write this, so don't take
I
it
know,
out
but
on
that's
me.
fine. I'm not taking it out on you,
Okay.
but y'all are doing some crazy.
Well, you see, there you go with y'all.
Here you go again. Just because my sister is my mom and my uncle and my sister and my brother and they all have the same dog and we all live in the same house in the same trailer don't mean you get to say you guys, okay? It's offensive. Damn it.
Again, I'm not Dooley County Sheriff's Office. I'm Turner County Sheriff's Office, okay? I'm Lieutenant Partain. I'm with the Sheriff's Office of Turner County. The reason I'm stopping you is following too close. You were following it semi too close. That you
There
were
was no one in front of me. This
There was
literally,
some.
I'm literally thinking of this as I'm driving. I was driving. There's 2 cars. You guys are parked right there. The police officers. I move over and follow the move over law.
Right.
There's me not following anyone too
Okay,
close.
there was a yellow cab semi in front of you, and you were about 3 car lengths behind that semi. You're in a 70-mile-an-hour zone running 67 mile an hour, so you need to be at least 6.5 car lengths behind that vehicle to be in compliance with Georgia law. Okay.
Vehicle. You know they're inbred when they pronounce the H in vehicle.
So you were following too closely.
Oddly enough, the second deputy was not only a lieutenant, but was also from another agency altogether, and pulled Ray over for the exact same reason as Deputy PV. But again, when reviewing the footage, this time not only was Ray not following too closely, he wasn't even in the same lane as the vehicle in front of him.
Not even in the same lane. And just wait till you hear the story, how the judges came after him, the prosecutor came after him, and the prosecutor graduated from like some internet college that doesn't even exist anymore.
Could this lieutenant be the person PV called during the first traffic stop just 5 minutes prior? We'll find out. But as Ray retrieves his documents for Lieutenant Partain, the deputy now pretends to realize that there's a monkey in the rear of the vehicle.
Is that a monkey?
Yes.
Oh, man, let me get on my best Academy Award face. Is that a monkey?
Do you have your paperwork to be transporting the monkey?
There's no paperwork required if I'm just traveling through the state.
Yes, sir. You got to have paperwork with you to transport a monkey.
That's not true.
Ray is correct. Georgia law allows for a person to transport exotic pets in the state. However, a permit is not required when the animal will not remain for longer than 24 hours, or be sold or transferred during that period.
Where'd you pick the monkey up at?
He belongs to me.
Oh, okay. So you just took your widget from Florida?
I'm not going to answer any questions outside the scope of the stop.
Well, at this point, that is the scope of the stop, because now you're in unlawful possession of a monkey in the state of Georgia, and I'm fixing to get DNR to come out here. So you can either answer them to me or you can answer them to DNR.
When they use fixin' and fittin', that'll tell you something about who their relatives are. They're probably related to their relatives. When you hear fixin' and fittin', that's a good sign right there.
DNR, it don't make no difference to me.
Okay, you don't need a license for any type of permit for transport if you're going in and out of the state.
We'll see in just a second. Let me get a DNR ranger out.
Okay.
You're not free to leave at this point. You're being detained.
Okay.
He was detained before that.
Oh, yeah. Look in the back.
Now returning to his cruiser, Lieutenant Partain makes a phone call to DNR Sergeant Greg Wade.
Oh yeah, it's a show enough monkey in a dog cage.
Show enough. Again, listen, these are indicators of your family's related to each other in the wrong ways.
He told me whenever I pulled him over that it's his monkey. He said that I said, "Where's your documentation?" He said, "I don't need any documentation to transport a monkey because it's my monkey."
He said that you just hear what he said. I told him I don't need any documentation to transport a monkey because it's my monkey. I didn't even say that. Liar.
Okay. All right, bye.
The second stop and phone call was certainly rolled into action by Deputy Peavy. The cell phone reads Norman Park 6, Greg W. Instead of researching the statutory language of the code he is attempting to enforce, which would have cleared up his suspicion of Ray's alleged offense of transporting a monkey, the lieutenant looks up pictures of monkeys instead, before receiving another phone call from Greg Wade.
That monkey looks like my sister.
Go ahead. Okay. All right. And so basically, yeah. So basically, if okay. All right. I'll let you know. Bye.
During that call, Ray is removed from his vehicle and backup deputy Robert Taft conducts an illegal Terry frisk, as Ray has posed no threat or sign of being armed or dangerous on either stop.
Hey, sir, if you don't mind, just come back here for me, okay?
Okay. You want me to turn the car off?
It's up to you.
Okay.
You ain't got no weapons on you, do you?
No.
All right, just turn around.
I don't consent to a Terry frisk, just for the record. I don't consent you touching me.
Turn around. Okay.
The court ruled police can conduct limited search for weapons if they have a reasonable suspicion that the person is armed and dangerous, even if they lack probable cause for arrest. But reasonable suspicion that they are armed and dangerous. There is no reason to believe I am armed, and there is no reason to believe that I am dangerous.
You have an assault monkey.
I've been nothing but respectful the whole time. They don't know how to do their jobs.
You want you to have a seat right there on that guardrail, sir. Where are you headed to?
I'm not going to answer any more questions because this is ridiculous at this point.
Okay, I understand.
The lieutenant continues to look at monkeys until Deputy Taft approaches.
What's going on?
I'm dumb and inbred, and this guy ain't falling for our inbred highway scheme where we steal everybody's money, and if they dare to fight us, we try to put him in jail for a year. He ain't going for it. Him nor his monkey.
Yeah. They don't have anybody that can come and deal with it right now, but I was told to take pictures of it. See, ask him again if he has any documentation to where he's supposed to be transporting the thing, and if he don't, take pictures of it, get all his information, then they will be in contact with him. So.
And if he don't, officer, if he doesn't, because if you say if he don't and you don't use a contraction, your sentence would sound like if he do not. If he do not, if he don't means if he do not. If he doesn't mean if he doesn't, if he does not. Like you don't even have to know proper English to be a cop in this country.
Answering the question.
Deputy Partain calls DNR Sergeant Greg Wade back to clarify something.
Hey, I forgot to tell you this, and I don't know if it matters, but he is from South Carolina in a rental vehicle going south. Okay, all right. Like I said, I didn't know if that held any leverage or if it mattered, but I just want to mention that because he's not a Georgia. Huh? All right, thank you, brother. All right, bye. He does have to have a pass-through permit, and he is not allowed to stop for anything but gas and food.
The phone calls from Greg Wade appear to only have provided more false information that is not included in the Georgia Code, but it is now known that no DNR officers were available to respond to the scene.
Yeah, he started with
1016, 1039, Viking County.
y'all this, y'all that, and I'm like, hold on. Don't be putting me, exactly, don't be putting me in the same category as somebody else now. Talking about law enforcement. Like we're, yeah, Stevens.
He's still offended that he caught him conspiring against him. Don't bunch me up just because I'm related to all of them. Don't bunch me into it.
Stopped him and duly and running for following too close.
That's what he was doing here.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him a written warning tomorrow.
All right, Thabo or Ray just texted me. He's about 10 minutes out. So how much time's left in this video?
Give him a citation.
That's about perfect. I'm gonna go turn the air down. I'm getting hot already, getting angry and
And
sweaty.
still, don't put me in the same category as somebody else. You know, I didn't write you a ticket.
Don't put me in the exact same category where I perfectly fit and totally conspiring against this person. He's so angry that Ray knows what they're doing. That's what he's angry at. It's like the murderer that's mad that he got caught red-handed.
Yeah, just hang on for a second. Because he's going to flip out when I tell him he's got to open that so I can get a picture of that monkey. And it's either that or go to jail for obstruction. What is it?
Just sit over there. He'll be with you just a second. Sit back over there for me. I understand. You didn't want to answer any of my questions. I don't want to answer yours. Just sit right there. Or just sit right there for me.
If you exercise your rights, that means I can't be professional anymore, so I'm not going to answer. It's tit for tat out here. You understand? The only thing that matters is my ego, nothing else.
He'll be with you just a second.
After being detained for nearly an hour, Deputy Partain finally prints a warning for Ray.
Hey, real quick. So, do you have a copy of your pass-through permit that you're supposed to have?
So the DNR told me that by Georgia law, I could just ask them for one and they would email it over, but I don't need it.
Okay,
That's
but
what
have they emailed it to you?
They told me that I don't need it. They said that you don't need it if you're driving through. They told me if you're in and out of the state within 24 hours, you don't need it.
So that's not true. Let me explain to you what I was just
Yes, it is.
told by Sergeant Greg Wade with Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
Dude, I hate how they always call somebody else. They always call another cop who's just as stupid as them. Why can't you just look up the law? Dude, here. Okay. ChatGPT. I own a monkey. I fled Florida for the hurricane, went to South Carolina. On my way back through Georgia, is there any law that says I have to have special paperwork to go through Georgia with my monkey?
No.
Can you write his name now? So I just want to clarify with the law or whatever.
Yeah, hold on. He consulted with his lieutenant. All right.
That means nothing.
I don't know the lieutenant's name, but he consulted with a lieutenant. The lieutenant said that you are correct on part of that. You can only be in the state for 24 hours.
It's like 24 or 48
Hold on, let me finish talking.
I called to get my due diligence.
I understand that. I'm just relaying you what I was told, so let me do mine. Okay. So you can only be in the state for 24 hours. You can only stop for gas and food.
I know how this man.
And you have to have your
You're
permit.
writing me a ticket just for asking questions.
Does that say ticket on it?
Oh, warning. Okay.
Exactly. I'm
fuming over this because this guy, I appreciate it.
But I didn't.
See, this gave out wrong information, but passing through versus living there. This is where reality and law can differ. The statute covers import or transport, which technically includes driving through the state with the animal. However, enforcement usually happens only if an officer stops you and discovers the animal or if there's an incident. There is no special just passing through exemption written in the statute that clearly protects private owners. Practical risk level, if you're just driving through Georgia with a monkey in your vehicle, there isn't usually a checkpoint or inspection. But law enforcement stops you and discovers a monkey, they could technically enforce wildlife law. But the wildlife law, which they'd have to actually look up, says you don't need it just for passing through. You said you own a monkey. Florida actually requires Florida, yeah. Practical advice, proof of legal. So practical advice, you should have papers because we all know that the NOT SEEs in Georgia are going to stop you. So you have to prove everything to these cops. It's disgusting. And again, this didn't bring up the actual law, but I'm sure if I dug in, instead of Google searching monkeys and what they look like, you can actually figure out what the hell's going on. But I spoke to the lieutenant. Man, my bell needs oil.
I have no problems with you guys.
I didn't do that.
This right now, I gotta get his dash cam, and now I gotta go back to this court date, and it's literally because I was not trailing behind. No, I have a perfect driving record.
I understand that.
This is absolutely ridiculous that he chose to do. And the only thing is, when the officer pulls me over, and you guys are trained to start asking all these trick questions and stuff, I just say I'm just gonna answer what it pertains to the stop. And then some officers get offended by that, but I just want to just answer.
They sure do. If you ain't complete compliance, if you don't follow the donut operator playbook to the T, their little vagina starts to hurt like this guy's did. Put me in with somebody else, even though that's actually what happened. And he caught me red-handed. How dare he lump me in and actually say that what I did.
The questions to keep it going.
Chuck, you want to come on for an interview Monday? Let me know.
Like, yeah. I'm just traveling through.
Listen, you haven't offended me. You haven't offended me at all. You know,
another lie. He's just a liar, bro. Like, does he not know he's recording his own lies?
And I'm not trying to trick you by any means.
Yeah, and I apologize. He just wrote me this ticket because I was asking questions, and I'm just flabbergasted that I have to come back. But it's no big deal.
Well, like I said, that's Dewey County. This is Turner County. That's complete Sioux County. I can't be held accountable for what somebody else did. Okay.
Okay.
Now, as far as the permit, do you have a copy of that
Except that you conspired with him.
that you can produce and show me?
What do you mean, like a permit?
Your pass-through permit to travel with a monkey, to have a monkey.
So they told me that I don't have to have one by
But you
Georgia
said
law.
they were going to email you one, right?
No, they said that they can email one, but it's no need because you don't have to have one.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
that's,
you're telling me they told you that I have to have one?
yes, sir. They told you whoever you spoke with is incorrect. You have to have a pass-through permit, and you can only be
And
within.
who did you speak to? 'Cause I'd like to call him after.
Greg Wade, Greg.
1 second. Because I always check with each state.
Yeah.
Greg, WADE,
WADE. He's a sergeant with
and he's
DNR.
sergeant
Yep.
with the DNR.
That's right.
And do you know which office?
I don't know. DNR has their weird offices. I don't know which office he's with.
And who else did you speak to?
I spoke to Greg Wade. He spoke to a lieutenant. Now, he didn't tell me which lieutenant,
Okay.
but he spoke to a lieutenant. And
Are you allowed to give me his phone number, or I have
no,
to get
sir,
it
I
from
can't give
DNR?
his, I can't give his phone number out. They would get on to me if I did that. And I don't want to get
They get on to me like my sister did my daddy.
in trouble. So, all right. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna need a phone number for you because they're gonna have to contact you about that. I also need to get a picture of the monkey.
Deputy Partain now takes pictures of the monkey, and before leaving, Ray asks some clarifying questions about the traffic
And
stop.
just in regard to this stop, so you believe that you seen me too close driving past the truck?
Yes. All right. Now let me explain that to you real quick, okay? Because the other deputy, he might not have explained it very well. So let me explain.
Out
It
of
to you.
curiosity, because if I did do it, as far as just my recollection, I never had tickets. I drive like a lot. The first ticket I got, in my mind, there's no way that I was behind a truck like that. I feel like he just got behind me and pulled me over for no reason.
Yeah.
And one of the things that also stood out to me, like I'm driving, he pulled up to the side of me and then come behind me and pull me over. So as to my recollection, I just feel like, am I this stupid and I didn't know that I was going too close to the truck, which I don't feel like it. So I'm going to request all the dash cams just to look for myself. Because I'm like, am I driving around and I'm just really not paying attention? Because I feel like I'm a self-aware person that I wouldn't be doing it. Because I just got stopped 2 times for this and I'm just like, am I crazy?
Well, and see, there.
Because I just am like, yeah, I'm just below the way. I got stopped twice for this.
Well, the problem is there's different interpretations of what that means, what following too close means. So basically, it's one car length
It's whatever we feel like.
per 10 miles an hour.
Okay.
So let's say if you're right here on this road and you're in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, you need to at least be 3.5 car lengths behind the vehicle in front of you. That just gives you adequate enough stopping distance.
So you were in this car?
Yeah, this right
Oh,
here.
so they relayed it to you, so you don't even know.
No, he was just coming south. I
So
see
you were in this car?
Yeah.
Oh, so he relayed the information to you, so you weren't even there when the 2 cars were there. So I'm gonna have to get his dash cam, Officer Taft.
You didn't get a ticket.
I know, but I just want to look. So he's Officer Taft with his office.
He's Sergeant Taft. I'm
Sergeant
Lieutenant Partain.
Okay, so you didn't even
Yes, I did.
witness it yourself.
Yes, I did.
You were parked up here.
I did. Yes, I was. I was parked under the bridge right there, and there was a semi in front of you.
So
Yeah,
they didn't initiate a stop. He was just following behind coincidentally.
He was
and then
going
you
south to come where I was.
And then you witnessed it.
And I seen you when I looked in the rearview mirror and seen him coming because he was supposed to pull up next to me. I seen you following the semi too close. See, look, see that silver car? Now see that truck behind him?
Yeah.
See they're following too close? Let me point out another one to you and I'll show you. Because like I said, this is a 70-mile-an-hour zone, so you got to be at least 7 car lengths.
Will your dash cam see it?
Probably
Probably not. Okay, I'll just get the other guy.
not. And the reason I say that is
So you don't even
because
think his would see it?
who's that?
The guy who wrote the other ticket.
It should.
Okay.
If he got up next to you and stuff like that, it should. But
Okay.
see how that boat right there? See how close they are?
You're not supposed to be that close?
Nope, because that's not 7 car lengths.
Okay.
So it's a very, very, very wide distance.
Okay.
So it's just keep that in mind. Like I say, let's say if you was in a 55-mile-an-hour zone, it's 5.5 car lengths. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure you got a clear understanding that we don't run into that problem again.
Okay,
You run into it twice today.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that you were clear on that so you didn't have that
So
problem.
if you 60, 70 miles zone, you got to be 7 car lengths.
Yep.
And it's specifically for a semi.
No. That's any car. Like
So
any
everybody's violating it basically. I would like half the people violating this law right now basically.
Yeah, you see that right there? They're doing it too.
And I know y'all don't make the laws or whatever.
We don't. We just enforce them. Like I said, it don't mean that you get a ticket. It just means we stop you and make you, aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You
But
can
if you could have the guy call me.
I'll call him and tell him that you requested a phone call, and I'll see if he can get in contact with you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, but I know you don't make the laws.
I don't.
It's like, that's a weird one, bro.
Yep. It happens, man. Hey, it's what makes the world go around.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah, these laws, like these traffic laws, police unions do everything in their power to make them arrestable offenses. That way, if you give them any lip on the side of the road, they can have the option and discretion to arrest you. Like when that guy said that one stop where the cop pulls the guy over And he goes, I could, you didn't sign your registration. That's an arrestable offense. The guy giggles. The cop got so offended. He goes, get out the car, and arrested him for that. Like, cops are the biggest cowards in the world, to put it lightly.
At the time of publication, Ray is still facing charges from the first stop with Peavy. And as it turns out, Peavy's father is the sheriff of the county he was charged in. Deputy Peavy's dad, Sheriff Peavy, happens to be friends with the judge hearing over his
I forgot about that.
case, Judge Rooney Bowen III. And despite a lack of evidence, the prosecutor has not yet dropped the case. I'll be following up with Ray, hoping for a positive outcome on this one. And if I hear anything, I'll be sure to let you know. But head over to Ray's channel for the most up-to-date information. And if you stop by, let him know I sent you. And if you have a story, you can submit it using my links below, even anonymously. And if you like this video, check out another episode, linked on...
There you go. So there you go, everybody. That's how it works in Georgia. Well, I'm sure that's how it works pretty much anywhere, but them people in Georgia, man, if you watch his channel, and I don't know how much of the videos were up, but when this first happened and I went to his channel and I started binge watching this guy, like, he is absolutely incredible, man. The way he traversed the legal system over there with no fear, went after the judges, and he did it all through paper. He didn't, like, they tried to get him, I'll ask him when he gets here, but they tried to get him to go in person to do a public records request, and he wouldn't go because he knew they were trying to set him up to be arrested inside Ohio, to be arrested inside the police station. That's where I'm from, dude. My buddy just called me today and asking me if the dispatchers have qualified immunity. I'm like, bro, they all have qualified immunity. It's crazy. I need a stronger pair of glasses. I'm turning 50 this month. Sucks. I'll be right back. Ray's on his way. F you, I'm not a cop is all you're gonna hear. All right, read some comments in the meantime. This one can see. This one can see. I've been waiting for someone to interview this guy. Oh my God. Have you watched this channel, bro? I don't know how many of the videos are still up. I wish they all were. But he is just absolutely amazing the way he traversed the legal system. Just unbelievable. I need to know, like, how does he know all the stuff that he knows? There's a lot of comments. Brandon Mitchell, what's up, brother? Tom Shaw, what's up? CFF, what's up? Tyrant Auditor 1, how are you? No, he wasn't even close to that semi. You're right. Bop, bop, bop. Country Guy Living, what's up? Could fit almost 2 semis in that gap, right? The gap in the cop's teeth, or what are you talking about? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We need an update on his court case. Yes, he's on his way home. He's running a little late. I got my camera rolling. Howard Clegg, what's up, bro? Trump's ear bandage. Aren't we all related to our relatives? I said in the special way, man. I corrected myself when I misspoke there, but that's pretty funny. J-Town Press in the house. What's up, Lana? Prometheus, my man. KS. For rights not nuked. Not, what is it? Not nuke war. Dude, how accurate is your username now, bro? It's disturbing what's going on out there. Scary, honestly. Geo, what's up, Geo? How are you? Loey. What kind of, where do you get these usernames, man? That's so funny. Lana Lackluster don't get much better. Yep. Mr. Bizzles, Sergeant Slackjaw. Based on these 2 officers, you don't need to know S to be a swine in this country. You don't, dude. Like, you don't have to do anything to be a cop in this country. Basically, have a heartbeat. I like Southern language. Redneck is all with me. Dude, I like the language too, but when you, like New Yorkers, when you have an accent, I'm actually kind of prejudiced because everyone on TV talks like me. People, when I went to Europe, they thought I was Canadian, and they told me that I have an accent. I don't understand how I have an accent. My English is just run-of-the-mill news guy, Midwestern, Southern Canadian. They all thought I was from Canada when I was in Greece. So when I hear accents like the New York and hey, good guy audits. Hey, what are you doing here? What's going on? What can I help you with, huh? And then you go down in Georgia. Whoa. You don't lump me in with them because sure enough, it was a monkey and you fitting and fixing to find out. Between those two, man, when they're saying something dumb, those two accents really accentuate the stupidity. But I lived in Frostproof, Florida for 13 years. I dated the girls from there when they had that accent. When you're a smart guy and you have that accent, it's like a Southern charm. When the women have it, it's very attractive. But when women have that New York accent, hey, I want to bang you. Hey, come over here. Let's do it. Country bumpkin isn't an excuse for stupidity. You're right, Prometheus. What else we got here? Patrick McGinnis, what's up, my brother? How are you? Attorney Michael Eline, hey, go get ready for deposition, but I want to express support as we will be missing you since you are back in a regular job. Well, still got to pass the background check and everything, so we'll see what happens. John, you should look at his videos when he was up in North Carolina, and they followed him for 3 days to get his ID. Really? I'm going to have to ask him about that. Not Z's. What's that mean? They literally followed him for 3 days just to get his ID. I didn't know that. B. Harrison, thank you. Get a job. Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying to get a job, Chuck. The video where they stalked him for 3 days in North Carolina just to get his ID is probably a few years back, and he filed civil suits against them. Yeah, he's unbelievable in the court system, man. He really is. Vivian Patton, hi. First Freedom, what's up? Did I miss anybody? Okay, Chuck's going to message me about the interview. Stop talking to pigs. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, man, it's best to remain silent. Just request the cam coverage, okay? FTP and ACAB unless proven otherwise. I agree with that. He's coming. He's not coming for the interview. He's coming. I think he will. I've been trying to get him for months, so. Oh, I got a message. Let's see what he says. 3 minutes. Be online. Logging in now. He's coming on. I got my camera rolling. Look at some of his earlier videos where they stalked B. Harrison, man. Did they stalk him for 3 days? Thank you. Pigsplaining. Yep. The cops complaining. He's doing the cops complaining. He's doing right now is total BS and lies. Yeah, he's mad because he got caught. John, he was 10 minutes out 5 minutes ago. Okay. He's coming, guys. Relax. Things happen, bro. Typical road pirating, out of state tags. Any lie will do. Exactly. Thanks for the $5, Prometheus. I appreciate that. On behalf of the money, who never understood his freedom was in jeopardy. I think you meant on behalf of the monkey. The monkey. Is that sure enough was monkey? Monkey. Sure enough was monkey. Jesus. That gives a reason to pull anybody over. When I moved to Florida and I still had Ohio tags on my Ford Ranger, my 1994 Ford Ranger with the tachometer on the hood and the etched windows and the runner boards, man, I got pulled over relentlessly just because I had an Ohio tag. Yeah. Cops are not objective at all. Do you remember when Harvey Freeberg got pulled over and they took him to jail for running a stop sign because he wouldn't perform their DUI? Yes, I do remember that. He won that case. This is the county next to mine, and my son lives in Turner County. The cops are pathetic around here. I'm sure. I'll send you my discards, John. I don't know what that means, but send them, sure. Backwoods Blue Line bootlickers, yes. I've been waiting for someone intelligent. Been waiting for someone to interview this guy. Yes, he's awesome, dude. Louis. I don't know what language that is, bro. Why did he have his back turned? I don't know. Joe the Ho. I'm Joe Citizen Ho. You guys remember that auditor? So many auditors come and gone, man. All the videos on his channel were basically taken down to protect himself because who knows how the police will twist. Yeah, he had to take all his videos down during the trial period because they're gonna go try to farm little clips off that to try to prove that he's up to something or a bad person or something. Yeah. What's his channel name? It's Thabo and Ray. The link's also in the description. We need more people going after judges. Yeah, they're the ultimate sovereigns. Drop his link so we can sub. All right. No problem. Copy channel ID. There it is. Audit Palooza this year. If there is one, it's not going to be run by me, but sure. Link. I just posted the link, guys. All right. I think he's here. He is here. Thank you, Fort Silver, man. The big 5-0. John, you can call me Johnny 5-0 on the 24th of this month because I'll be turning 50. All right. Without any further Mountain Dew, the man is here.
How you doing, John?
What is up, brother?
Doing good, hanging in there.
My man, I don't know if you realize this, but when I first found you, I pretty much borderline stalked you and was ready to drive over to that city nearby me to find you because I wanted to interview you so bad because I was so unbelievably impressed by your channel and all the videos and the way you traverse the legal system down there. It was just incredible, dude.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it was crazy. I knew we had corruption in America, but I didn't know it was quite that bad. We hear what do they call it? It's like the I guess the legend or whatever of the good old boys. And, I thought it was an urban legend, but apparently it's a real thing. It goes from the sheriffs to the judges to just everybody. One, giant network of people just going for corruption. And, it goes against everything that our country was founded on. Literally, there's a quote from James Madison about, having all three branches of the government working together is literally the definition of tyranny. And, I experienced it firsthand. But, I mean, to play devil's advocate, at least in America, we have, recourses and we have a system, even though it's broken and most people don't have the time or the resources, I guess one good way to look at it is I guess some people can navigate through it because what I'm doing, 99.9% of people can't. That's what
Exactly.
they were. I don't know if you told the chat a little bit of what happened, what they do, like the road pirate thing. That's what it started from. And they target out-of-state travelers driving through. So what they do is they have these counties in rural areas. And there's a double-edged sword to this. So for one, the counties doing this don't have the resources when people like me hold them to task. It's a lot of money. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars so far defending against my litigation. And their insurance company don't like that. Their insurance companies will drop them if they get too many lawsuits like this. They're not like a big city like Atlanta that has the resources to do it, but then they don't. So the idiots who are on the interstate in the small towns, so what they do is they have their county, and if the interstate runs through it at any part, even a little tiny, quarter of a mile, they'll just send all their deputies there to use the interstate as a policing for profit scheme. And they target out-of-state drivers because if you're driving through Georgia, or you're going to New York, or just anywhere, if you're traveling through the interstate, most people are not going to, they only want me to pay $300 even though I didn't do it. I'd have to pay a turn in, and I have to come back like 500 miles to go to court, and most people are just not going to do it, and so that's what they bank on. And in that area, there is even, you know, the state of Georgia. I will say that they do have like state level investigation bodies that will look into these people, because, for instance, the city of Sycamore, they didn't even have a part of the interstate that went through their city, but they still just illegally put deputies on the interstate to police for profit out of their jurisdiction, and they got caught for doing that. So it's a mess, man. It's a mess. And then the whole, you know, the court system I experienced, we got the I don't know how much you told the viewers about the background of the situation.
Well, before we get into that, man, I want to know more about you. Where are you from?
Originally from Tampa. Originally from Tampa.
Oh, you're a
Florida.
Floridian?
Yep.
You still basically live my neighbor down the street, half hour?
Not right now. I'm traveling right now, but I visit. I'm in Florida a lot.
And were you actually watching like auditing or police corruption videos while you're being pulled over or something like that? Did I get that right?
That was a cool on like, what was it, the second, or I think the first stop or second stop? Yeah, I actually was. I mean, the videos are awesome, but I don't think I per se seeked it out. But for me, I love auditing. It's a civic duty. Everybody should like do it. But I think I was more looking into, I just like to know my rights. Not from an auditing perspective, I just like to know my rights. So I'm always like, you know, I would always be looking up videos.
What made you want to learn about your rights? Because most people could care less.
Well, so I would say, and I'm the kind of person where I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, every problem in the world is because I'm black or da 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 da. I think as a black person, we have the internet. So like, even if you're living in like the middle of like Mississippi or like some KKK place, you can like be at your house and make money from the internet. Nothing's stopping you. So I don't view it as like this race thing. But being an African American, we have like history of like, people are violent.
Hold on, Ray. Hold on. You're breaking up. You're like frozen right now. So I don't know. Give it like 10 seconds.
Are
You're
we
still
back?
frozen. Your audio's back. Oh, there we go. So yeah. So you said something. Being African American. Sorry.
Being African American. I just wanted to preface it where, like, you know, I don't think it's a problem for a lot of black people. Like, blame all their problems on being black, and I'm just not one of those types of people. But for me, I know the history of America with civil rights, and that's where the civil rights movement came from. Is, you know, the African American struggles. That's why we can do, you know, civil rights lawsuits and stuff. So just being African American, and I was around before body cameras when I grew up, and I've had too many to name encounters with police where they just did stuff that they're not supposed to, and there was no body cameras, and they just
growing up in Tampa. Is that in Tampa?
Yeah, you know, Ybor City. Oh yeah, you're from the area. So Ybor City cops out of control back in the day.
We had an auditor who passed away. His name was Ybor Rob, and he would literally just one after another. It was so easy to find a bad cop there.
Yeah, I grew up. Yeah,
Go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I grew up a skateboarder, and you know, the skate park at Tampa there. So we used to always go to Ybor, like, you know.
I thought you were Hawaiian or something. I have a hard time with. I don't care about race at all. So when I look at it, I thought you were like Hawaiian or something for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh geez. But yeah, in the car, I was listening to like some. I think it was like Audit or something. I don't know.
Okay.
One of those channels.
And okay, you grew up in Tampa. You've had run-ins with the cops. You start looking into your rights. You know about history. Tell us about the monkey thing. What's with the monkey?
So I just at one point in my life, about 7 years ago, I used to deal in corals and tropical fish, like breed them for work. It's a real lucrative market, even to this day. And so I used to do that, and then, you know, I got kind of bored with it. And one day I was like, you know, what's next in life? And then, you know, I always have a you only live once mentality. So I was either gonna work with big cats like the Big Cat Rescue Tampa, or I was gonna work with primates, and I decided to work with primates, and I started doing volunteer work, and one thing led to the next. He's actually a rescue from a lab where his mom passed away, and yeah, he was supposed to be temporary, and then I ended up keeping him long term, and yeah, the rest was history. And then we started doing TikTok. I don't know if you know, but TikTok is our main platform, so we blew up or whatever on TikTok, and just the rest is history.
Isn't it really difficult to have a monkey?
I would say the thing with you so if you have to raise it and just be with it 24/7, so it thinks you're part of his troop, where you basically are. So I never had to like work, I guess, a real job. So he's always been with me basically 24/7 for the past 7 years. Because a lot of people do get monkeys. I know countless internet creators who've come and gone because they got monkeys, and then the monkey just got too aggressive. And if they bite you, he has really sharp teeth. Like if he would bite me, like I couldn't keep him, it would just, he would end up killing me, slicing a vein or something. Their teeth are like so sharp. But the people who got rid of them is because if you like go to work and then come home, or if you're just leaving them for long periods of time, they're just going to build resentment to you, and they just become dangerous. And so I would say,
you leave the house, he goes with you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unless it's like a really short, like if I need to go somewhere really quickly, but haven't gotten on a plane in the last 7 years. Always road travel.
Do you travel for the TikTok, or you travel for a job? Do you work a different job?
The TikTok, you just get freedom. It pays well. So TikTok for the first. So I think the only reason we kind of blew up on TikTok is because we got in when they didn't pay. So they didn't pay for the first, I would say 3 years. And then they started to pay really crappy for 4 years on the fourth year. But around like year 5 or 6, they started to pay like a lot, like a large amount of money. And so then I just had the freedom to travel around and just go to Airbnbs and just do whatever. And then it's like, why not? Might as well experience while you can, right?
For sure. You married or anything?
No.
All right. You're still in your 20s, no?
No, I'm getting up there. I'm 33.
All right. I didn't get married till I was 41, bro. You got plenty of time. What's the lifespan on one of those things? And what breed is it?
He's an African green monkey. In captivity, well taken care of, he could live up to 40 years.
What?
Yeah, it's awesome when I think about like dogs and stuff. I look up some of the lifespans. I'm like, dang, they only live like 8 years. That's crazy. Because some dog species, he would be like at the end of his life, and so he's still like a spring chicken, right? You like that orange? You like that? So
orange? that monkey is going to be in your life basically for the overwhelming majority of your life,
right? Yeah.
Wow, bro, what a responsibility, man! Holy crap!
All right, I love it though. It's awesome.
I mean, it is pretty awesome. I'd be scared, but it is pretty damn cool. I gotta say.
I have to be careful when I can't bring him around people he doesn't know. He has to have like a very long introduction process before I'd allow somebody to be out around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I get that. All right, so one of the hurricanes. Which hurricane was it where you left Florida?
It was 2 of them. It was when we had those back-to-back hurricanes. It was Hurricane Helene, and then what was the name of the other one? Was it Michael?
Something with an M, yeah.
I think it was Michael. Wherever it was 2 back-to-back storms hit Florida, and for me at this point, I'll just leave. I know some people will stay, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've been here a bunch of different times. I'll stay," but you just never know with nature. I had an experience in Texas I was ignoring warnings for, bad weather. My mom was telling me like, oh, you need to listen to the warnings because they were saying it was like thunderstorms and stuff. And I'm from Florida, so a thunderstorm just means like basically nothing, like nothing's going to happen. But out in Texas, it means something totally different. I didn't know that.
Floods and everything else, huh?
Right. So I just drove to like this thunderstorm, and then it was whipping up tornadoes. Next thing you know, I had to the winds were so crazy, I had to run into a gas station. and there was a whole bunch of other people that came in there, and then the lights flickering on and off, the tornado sirens going off, and there was a tornado on the ground, and it like damaged the area, and I could have ended up, dying for not listening to, evacuation warnings. So just now going forward, I'm just like, you don't know what you don't know, and I'll just leave. So I left when those 2 back-to-back storms hit, before they hit, and I went to the North Carolina mountains. I'm like, I'll just go make it a vacation. And then I was driving back, and then that's when, do you want me to tell the story of the stop? So then after the storms, so I'm a hurricane evacuee. So I went up to the North Carolina mountains, was just hanging up there waiting for the storm to leave. And then I came back down and then through Georgia. And then when I got to a county called Dooley County, I'm just driving, and I never got a driving ticket in the past 12 years or something. Completely perfect driving record. I'm the most perfect driver. I got into an accident when I was like 16, and after that I was like, I'm just gonna be very careful driving in cars and just follow every traffic law. So I'm a grandma driver. And so I'm driving, and then this cop, I'm driving on the interstate, and I see all these people pulled over, and you know what time it is. They got like some goofy speed trap thing going on. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't do anything I'm not supposed to. Then I'm driving, and then an officer gets behind me, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no reason he has to pull me over. Then he gets on the side of me. So I'm driving, he's on the side of me and looks inside of the car at me. And that's obviously weird as hell. I'm in the middle of Southern Georgia, and I have this cop mean mugging me.
Profiling.
Yeah, it's the only thing you can think of that it could be. And then later on, what came out is that he's a part of a drug interdiction unit. Yeah, and then so
profile that even lends more to the profiling,
right? And that's one of the things that's so
black guy in a nice rental SUV. SUV is probably like a $75,000 SUV. He probably didn't realize it was a rental. He saw a black dude in there. Oh, that's all I need.
And it's so fucked up because the court system, I know not to even bring that up, because as soon as because they have nothing to latch onto to really defend themselves because the whole situation. But the minute I bring that up, they'll be like, well, you don't know what was going on in his mind, and you can't prove this, and you this, and you that, and you that. And then they'll just have all this stuff to attack. But anybody knows, and the jury will know like what was going on there. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like I totally agree. And then so he gets on the side of me, and then he gets behind me and then pulls me over, and I'm super respectful and courteous and to him. And then he tells me, oh, you were following the semi too closely. And I'm like, no, I wasn't, because there's no way I'm tailgating semis. Who the hell tailgates semis? And I'm like, no, cops. I was not doing that. And then cops. And then he starts and then I tell him that didn't happen, sir. And he's like, well, I got you on camera going on the back of the bumper of it. And I'm like, well, I disagree with you. Well, you don't have to disagree with me. Just being just a total asshole. Yep. And then he starts asking questions about the monkey. And I already know the law in Georgia. Before any state I go through, I know the laws ahead of time, just because I don't want the state to have the ability to seize my monkey, and because you could run into idiots like that who actually have the authority when you don't know the law. But I already know the law before I go there for idiots like this. His name's Deputy Stephen Peavy. So then he starts asking questions about the monkey. And so the law in Georgia is you can have a wild animal in Georgia if you're traveling through, and you just have to be in and out the state within 24 hours. And the law says for the sole purpose of traveling through. So you can't be doing anything else. You can drive through. If you need to get a hotel, you get a hotel, but you're legally, you just have to be traveling through, which I was evacuating a hurricane going back to Florida. There's nothing in Southern Georgia for me to do. It's like I don't want to disrespect any of the people who live there, but it's not the most funnest place. So he starts asking questions, and I answer the questions that, for one, I don't have to answer any questions because we have a constitutional, right to not answer questions. But so I just wanted to answer questions as it was pertaining to the law, just to let him know I'm traveling through. So I told him I left North Carolina, I'm headed to Florida. And then he starts asking, well, where did you get the monkey from? And that's none of his business. He starts asking all this other stuff. And for one, it's none of his business. For two, I don't want to sit up here and just play this. I'm trying to drive, and you just put me over illegally. And, you're just asking. He doesn't even know what he's asking because he doesn't even know the law.
They impede you and get offended when they impede your freedom. Like it's like the RAPIST getting mad because you're resisting his RAPE.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I told him, and I'm super nice and courteous, especially because body camera roll and I'm filming, and I know any interaction could end up being I could have to take it to a court like this. So I told him, just respectfully, officer, I'm gonna stick to answering any questions that pertain to the stop. Well, that does pertain to the stop. Da 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 da. And then I just, I didn't answer any more questions. So he tells me, well, I was gonna give you a warning. So it literally tells me, because he's this.
His ego's hurt.
His ego's hurt. So he's literally, can't help but tell me I'm retaliating against you. He has to make sure to communicate to me that I'm retaliating against you because you're exercising your rights, which is a constitutional violation.
He doesn't realize it.
They will have to pay for everything that took place. So then he gives me a criminal charge. The following too closely is a criminal charge. And so he gives me that ticket. And it's still so crazy to me that I got a criminal charge for doing nothing. I'm in America and literally just driving, minding my own business, evacuating a hurricane. And then some dipshit cop just gives me a fucking criminal charge where I got letters telling me court dates. You're a criminal defendant in the case. Just blows my mind. So he gives me this following too closely charge. And then when I drive off, so a side note, the GBI, the state investigation body in Georgia, did a criminal investigation into the officers, and they did interviews with them. So they sat all the officers down. So that's the reason I know what phone calls he did and all the stuff that I'm about to say, because there was a real thorough criminal investigation into the officers.
And you broke all this stuff down on your channel. Like, I know the videos are probably down now, and I hope you put them back up when this is all
they're
over.
up. They're up. They're just older.
Oh, they're back up?
Yeah.
People, when this is over, this interview, you will not believe what this guy here did after what they did to him and what his follow-up. You got to just binge watch his videos. It's just unreal what this guy has done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got to make like a good comprehensive video. I'm gonna do like a little documentary type video when it's over. So when I drive off, he calls the next county up. And keep in mind, this deputy also, his name's Stephen Peavy. His dad is the sheriff, Stephen Craig Peavy. And his grandfather who died was the sheriff before that. So this deputy think he above the law and can do whatever he want. And they had judges in their pocket, which I had to handle that too. But so I drive off, and then 15 minutes later, more cops get behind me in another county and then pull me over and then tell me that, oh, you were following too closely again, another semi. And I'm still polite in my mind. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
That time the semi wasn't even in the same lane.
Wasn't even the same lane. I got both the body cams and the dash cams, and of course I wasn't following too closely on any of these stops. So then this stop, they violate more rights. This stop lasted about 30 or 45 minutes. They get me out the car. They search me. When I tell them I don't consent to a Terry frisk, they can ask you to get out the car for officer safety if it's a valid legal traffic stop, which it was not. But still, if they ask me to get out, I get out. Then when he comes to touch me, I tell them I don't consent to a Terry frisk. They can only put their hands on you and frisk you if they believe that you're armed and dangerous. No reason to believe I'm armed and dangerous. And then
if I may there, Pennsylvania versus Mims, you said it, but it's for officer safety. So Pennsylvania versus Mims says you got to get out of the car for officer safety. But the issue there is when you get them into court, you say to them, what is it that you saw me do that made you fear for your safety to remove me from the vehicle? So it's not just for officer safety. They have to articulate that when it comes time. So go ahead.
And in their criminal interviews, which they lied so much in with provable lies, the deputy who frisked me said that in that area, a lot of people have guns, and he saw me moving around in my car after, because they had me sit in the car at first, then they went behind the car. They're like, okay, and then they're in their car making phone calls and doing all that stuff. And then an officer tells me to just randomly get out the car. And then he says in his interview, when he was being criminally interviewed, I have all the recorded interviews, that he saw me moving around. So people in the area have guns, which that's just total nonsense. Just because somebody's reaching, and even though I wasn't moving around, but just because somebody is like reaching or doing anything in their car, that doesn't mean they're armed and dangerous. You have to believe they're armed and dangerous. You have no why would I be dangerous? You pulled me over. I've been cordial, calm the entire time. So anyway, just total nonsense. So he frisked me. They threatened to arrest me if I didn't open my car and show them the monkey or whatever. So they just violated my rights up and down and
repeatedly
across the board. Yeah, and then it gets worse. So then I'm like, okay, this was ridiculous, but I'm gonna get the body cam and the dash cam, and I'm gonna go to court. There's no way I'm gonna pay this because you're not getting it. I don't care if I have to keep coming back, a million times. So I move on, and I'm thinking that I didn't even make any videos or anything about it for 4 or 5 months because I expected to get the body cam, the dash cam, go to court, and then the judge should see it, and the judge should say, this is wrong, and they shouldn't have done this, and we're going to dismiss this like a good judge is supposed to do. So I go to these court dates, these initial court dates, and for one, the police departments don't want to give me the body cameras. They keep hiding and saying, well, you got to go to court or you got to this or that. But they have to legally give it to me with the Open Records Act. They've been giving me records after, but they tried to play the games with me that they try with most people to see if you know the laws. Anytime now I request something, they give it immediately, except for
also,
one.
If I may, sorry. Also, they tried to get you to go in person. In one of your videos, you were saying, I'm not going in there in person because they're trying to set you up to arrest you in there or something. Right?
Right. Which is far. And, I would go in person, but I have to have cameras and I just bring someone with me and this, that, and the third. They tried to play that game with some other records, and I just hired an errand person to go on my behalf and get the records. But so I go to these court dates, and then eventually I get the footage. They waited to the day of the first trial for this criminal charge to give the footage that day of. And then I was explaining to the judge that they've been hiding this footage for months and they haven't given the footage. And I asked the judge, can you dismiss this or do something about it? He gets so disgusting and so nasty with me. It didn't even make any sense. I was just left the court, like just taken aback, like what? Like he acted like I had said something about his mother or something. So then I decided to look into the background of the judge. And by the way, this judge got kicked off the case. So I looked into the background and I see the judge is secretly Facebook friends with the prosecutor's wife. The judge is secretly Facebook friends with the charging officer. The judge is at all kinds of personal gatherings with the officer's dad. And they have this whole intertwined connection that legally you're not allowed to do. And they have to, what they're supposed to do is once they realize they have a, connection like this, they're supposed to recuse themselves. They're not supposed to wait until you file a recusal motion. And I had to find all this stuff. But as soon as I filed a recusal motion, the judge voluntarily recuses. They got two options. Either they can fight your recusal motion and get a third judge to come review it, or they can step down. And of course he stepped down because I caught his ass. His name Judge Rooney Bowen. And if you want to see something interesting, you know the website I made. I bought DooleyCountyGeorgia.com and made a whole satirical website on all these people.
I'll bring it up right now. How do you spell Dooley? With 2 O's?
Yep, Dooly. So
Dooley County. Say it one more time.
Dooly County Georgia.com.
Okay. Thank you.
So the judge got kicked off the case. Then I look into the prosecutor. So the prosecutor has 2 criminal investigations now going on because of me. But so this prosecutor, I couldn't take it back. Once I got the video footage, I looked at it and it shows I'm not following too closely. I'm doing nothing. And what's going on here?
404.
Oh, something. Maybe I need to fix something or something.
That's okay. Go on.
So when I wanted to look into the prosecutor, because it's like, why is this prosecutor maliciously prosecuting me? I wanted to report him to his superior. So then I reach out to the district attorney office and I contacted the main elected district attorney directly. His name's Brad Rigby. He's the Cordell Judicial Circuit district attorney. He oversees there's like 5 or 6 counties. And I reach out to his office and explain to him what's going on and this criminal charge. And then he sends this long email using the word not, like he says, I do not have any authority over Prosecutor Dustin Keith Land. He's appointed by the county commissioners. It was set up like this before I was the district attorney. I have no authority to dismiss your case, blah, 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 blah. He's like, he don't have anything to do with this prosecutor. So it's like, okay, that's strange. Like the district attorney is supposed to be in charge of all the prosecutors. But in Georgia, if the county commissioners, they do have authority to appoint their own prosecutor. So then I reach out to the county commissioners and I speak to the county administrator. I do a public records request. His name's Stephen Sanders. He actually retired recently, but Stephen Sanders, the county commissioner of Dooley County. He responds back saying the county commissioners didn't appoint this prosecutor. They have no authority over the prosecutor. He says that the probate court judge appointed the prosecutor, and that's completely illegal. A probate court judge.
Conflict of interest, no?
You can look this up. Type in Google Georgia Attorney General opinion 99-6.
Georgia, one more time.
Georgia Attorney General opinion.
OPINOIN, yep.
99-6.
Okay.
And that should be the opinion on if probate court judges may appoint their own prosecutors. Does that
Georgia
come up?
unofficial opinion 99-6 concludes that a probate court judge lacks the authority to employ a private attorney to prosecute criminal cases within their court. The opinion found on Georgia.gov states this practice creates an appearance of impropriety, obviously, and a probate judge must adhere to power strictly provided by state law, which does not authorize hiring private prosecutors.
Right. And then also the main, and also it's just a basic separation of powers. Like we have the executive, judicial, and legislative branch. You can't have a judicial officer working in tandem with the executive branch. It's just not allowed. So then the prosecutor, so at that point, he's under criminal investigation. And then I'm like, okay, this asshole is maliciously charging me with a video that we all see that I didn't do. So I'm like, okay, let's see where else is he doing this at? So then I look at the neighboring county. I'm sorry, the neighboring judicial circuit, the Tifton Judicial Circuit, and he was working as a municipal prosecutor. That's for cities. So cities can appoint their own prosecutor to handle city cases, municipal violations. They cannot appoint their own prosecutor to represent the state, which is after I got all the records. That's what they were doing. I got his financials, and it showed he was taking plea deals. He was taking money on behalf of the state, and they were operating, representing the state where they had no capacity to do that. So I reported to the Tifton Judicial Circuit, which is the neighboring district attorney office. His name is Patrick Warren. He oversees like 6 other counties in Georgia. So these are like 2 jurisdictions. The DAs are like over vast swaths of land in southern Georgia. So he has when I first reported it to him, this is like maybe 8 months ago at this point, he was skeptical. He told me, well, Ray, you're the first person in 15 years to ever ask me this question. You know, I've been a district attorney this long, but I don't mind looking up the relevant statutory language that shows you what gives municipal prosecutors their authority. Fast forward, he looks into it, turns to full-blown criminal investigation going on right now. Last update I got about 3 weeks ago, because I have to periodically, because I need these investigations when they're done. When they're going on and the case is ongoing, I can't get it, but I need them. So when I sue for my other losses, I'm suing now, but when I sue more, I need those investigations. So I periodically reach out like every couple of months, because they're not going to tell me, hey, we're updating you, the case is over, here's the records. I have to keep reaching out. I reached out like 2 weeks ago, and he says that he's getting ready to make a charging decision and check back in a couple of weeks. So I need to recheck out with him again. So the prosecutor,
who's he going to charge, the judge or the prosecutor, or both?
I mean, at least the prosecutor, but you know how these things go when when criminals are doing stuff, then they start telling on each other. But I don't know what's going on, because hold on a second. One of the things I hope is that prosecutor is there trying to save himself and just spilling the beans on all kind of stuff.
And wasn't that prosecutor like, didn't you find out that he got his license off of a website, off of a...
No, he went to the worst ranked law school in America. It shut down. It was Florida Coastal University, literally ranked the absolute worst law school. Okay. So I was just making fun of him for that. Like, the law school was so bad, it had to shut down because they couldn't keep up. And
real quick, let me tell the people, guys, if you go to his videos tab, just scroll all the way down to the bottom and just start watching them. It's 1 year ago, and you just start watching these, and you will not believe how well this guy navigated this system. Sorry, go ahead.
So the judge is corrupt, had all these friends, and recused from my case. The prosecutor is not even lawfully appointed to even be on the cases and is under criminal investigation. He's been doing that for 6 years. So they're going to go back, and there's all kinds of, these district attorneys are taking this serious. So they may have to vacate all sorts of convictions from this guy. There may have to be all sorts of restitution, because there's thousands of cases. And I'm going to give Georgia credit. The state and these district attorneys, like the state of Georgia itself, like the state agency, not these local counties and stuff. These counties and shit are like fucking hell on earth. But the state itself, like the GBI, they did a real thorough investigation in these officers. They spent all sorts of resources to send these GBI officers out there, have recorded criminal interviews, the whole 9 yards. These elected district attorneys, I think the only reason they were not moving their feet at first, but I think they're boxed in and they're doing this because they have to save themselves. Like, you can't just ignore this.
You have too much on the record. You have too much video evidence.
Right. And I already reported them when they were moving their feet slow to the prosecutorial oversight body, and they did investigations to them and like, I, you know, nudged them or whatever to like make sure you do your job. But so judge is recused, prosecutor illegally there. And then the public defender side is even worse, the worst of all. So this county had a public defender, so the county had the option to get the state, this is where they fucked up, and this is why this is where I'm gonna be able to sue federally, but I'm waiting for those investigations to be done. But I may have to launch before the investigations are done if they're not done before October, because you got 2 years. Mm-hmm. This county, Dooley County, could have got the state public defender council to appoint their own public defenders, and then you couldn't sue because you can't sue a state, and it's like next near impossible to sue a state, and it would be I couldn't sue. But since the county decided to appoint their own public defender, they responsible and they don't have sovereign immunity with against federal lawsuits. You can sue a county. Mm-hmm. So what they did is they have this public defender, just one public defender in this court, this criminal misdemeanor court. He's also the county attorney. You can't have the county attorney who represents the county, represents the sheriff's office, has the interest of the county, also represent defendants who are getting criminal charges from the sheriff's office. And exactly case in point, when I sued, because one of the things when I sued, I still am able to get public records for their spending and where's the money going, how much have they spent against the lawsuit to defend against me. I get that, and I see the public defender's name in conferences. Like, so their counsel they hired to defend against my lawsuit is having conferences charging $300 or $400 an hour to talk to the county attorney and the county commissioners about my lawsuit. It's textbook the reason why you shouldn't have this the county attorney as the public defender. He resigned. He didn't wait till investigation started, this or that. He resigned almost immediately. They have a new one because 2 points. For one, the public defender county attorney, which is so illegal and just basic conflict of interest, he's been a judge in 6 municipalities in Georgia. So he should know better than anybody. And so that's the reason he didn't wait. He's like, this is illegal. We shouldn't have been doing. But the key here is that's been going. He's been there for like 8 years, being the county attorney and the public defender. So it's literally kangaroo textbook sham trial. So you have the county attorney, which is the worst of all. That setup is the worst. You got defendants in there. This guy's coming in. I'm your attorney representing you. Meanwhile, he's the county attorney. And then if you were to go to Dooley County, Georgia's website, they didn't even have him listed as the county attorney. I only found out that he was the county attorney. I have these local people who I have like whistleblowers, sheriff department, and other people that feed me information, and they're the ones who told me. And this is months and months after. And I'm like, hold on a second. You said he's the county attorney. They're like, yes. And I'm just like, oh my God. So he had to resign. You know, so the whole system there completely kangaroo court. And what makes it even worse, so we got all that stuff going on. Then I'm researching. I don't even know how I found this case. I was researching case line, and a case pops up called NP versus the state of Georgia. Then this is how it's popped up, because I needed to find a signature to match the signature from the county attorney. It was some legal stuff I was doing. So his signature pops up. And then I read the document and I'm like, what? Department of Justice, da-da-da-da-da-da. So long story short, the Department of Justice already been to this county before for this exact same thing. So what they were doing is not giving people proper legal representation, not giving them a proper public defender, and in some cases just giving them none, and children too. There's a case called NP versus State of Georgia. So you had this human rights organization in Southern Georgia. It's called the Southern Center for Human Rights. They launched a lawsuit against the state of Georgia, specifically for Dooley County and a few other counties. It was the Cordell Judicial Circuit, for not giving people proper counsel. And during the lawsuit, the Department of Justice got wind of the situation, and the Department of Justice can put a filing in a case. They can put what's called a statement of interest of the United States. So when the Southern Center for Human Rights was litigating this case, the counties at first were trying to claim all kind of immunity and try to fight the case and get the case dismissed, blah, blah, blah. But then when the Department of Justice put that filing in, then the county immediately settled, and they entered in what's called a consent decree. So the county, all the commissioners and the county attorney, that's where his signature was, signed off, and this is about 10 years ago, that they're going to fix all these problems in their judicial system with regard to making people get counsel. So they've been on notice for 10 years that this is illegal what you're doing. They just don't care. Your Department of Justice was already there, and you're still having people systematically come through a courtroom and giving them fake counsel here. You just don't care. You got a prosecutor unlawfully appointed. You got a judge knows everybody doing stuff that they're not supposed to do. That's why when I sue, via a Monell claim, they're screwed. The main thing you have to prove in a Monell claim that they knew or should have known, which sometimes can be a high standard. But when it comes to here, it couldn't be more clear that they've been on notice of, needing to put the right, giving people access to proper counsel, right? Mm-hmm. And just a total mess. And then, so the lawsuit that I have going on right now, during the stop, so one of the key pieces of evidence that I got the case dismissed is, luckily, I had just gotten into a car accident before the hurricane. So I had this rental car, this like new Expedition, and I just say new because of the technology that was in it. So I had this new Expedition from Enterprise Rental Car. So that was the car that had all the stops and all the stuff happen. So the deputies in their interviews, of their criminal interviews, when they were criminally interviewed, they said all these lies. And I was trying to figure out how can I prove that they're lying? So the car I had that I was driving, it has these detailed telematics logs that has the speed, the braking, everything you do in the car. It's like super creepy, like what these cars do. If you do a turn signal, anything you click in, like these newer cars, they're logged and they're sent to Ford or whoever the companies were. So it's creepy, but in my case, it actually saved me and is the smoking gun to, the criminality of these officers.
Was that able to tell you how close you were to the a vehicle in front of you?
The deputy said that I slammed on my brakes. So he says the reason why the dash cam doesn't show me following the car in front of me too closely tailgating is because when he got behind me, he says that I slammed on brakes.
Oh.
And in that way, when the dash cam turns on, that it looks like I'm just driving regular. But a telematics show I never slammed on brakes. It shows how fast I was going. It has the timestamp, so you can look at those timestamps to the body cam, to the dash cam's timestamps, and he lying. He went in an interview, and it's a felony to lie in a criminal interview, and so he caught him.
Are you still fighting the following too close?
No, that's got dismissed.
Oh, that's dismissed now. So now you're just suing them,
right? Yes.
And how many suits are you filing against them?
The first suit going on right now is for an Open Records Act violation and intentional infliction of emotional distress and conspiracy. That suit's been going on now it was filed in about a year, March of last year. And so what happened there is, so I got the telematics from my car. They were given public records when I did public records requests for most everything. They were given it for the phone call. I got phone logs, like just anything that I was asked for, they were given. But then when I did records requests for the telematics of the police cars to prove even more that they lied under oath, which is a felony, then they immediately just don't want to give me those records because those records, are conclusive. Like your deputies went into criminal interviews by the state agencies and they lied and it's a felony. So they want to hide that at all costs. So that's the first time where they're just not going to give me the records. So then I immediately file a lawsuit. And of course, the reason they're doing it is because you're trying to protect your deputies who committed a felony, lying. You're trying to protect your deputies and engage in a conspiracy to, help try to get me convicted of a criminal charge that I didn't do. And so that lawsuit is ongoing right now. And here's some karmatic irony here. So with this lawsuit,
karmatic irony is what I'm going to name my next band, but go ahead.
So one of the sheriffs, I sued two of the sheriffs because both sheriffs just didn't want to give me these records.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sheriffs, named Andy Hester of Turner County, he launched a countersuit against me for defamation because I posted a video of him. So I posted a ton of videos, but there was one video that I posted because when you type Sheriff Andy Hester in Google, another Georgia chief of police or sheriff comes up, and you can do that right now. Another chief of police comes up who got a DUI, and
What's
they look.
Name?
If you type Andy Hester, Sheriff Andy Hester, just type Andy Hester, Turner County. Type Andy Hester, Turner County. And I thought that the sheriff that had DUI was him. So I posted a video. It was up for 2 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as somebody said it in the comment, I'm not sure if that's him, I took it down. But scroll down. You should see the DUI thing come up. Let's see.
Privilege of knowing Turner County Sheriff. Suspect identified Turner County Deputy Andy Hester, Turner County Sheriff.
If you just type DUI, take out Turner County because that's going to be him. Just type DUI, Georgia. Or just type Andy Hester. It should come up. That's the go. See right there, just Andy Hester. So it's a high-ranking law enforcement officer. I thought it was him, so I posted that with that screenshot and I took it down. And so he launches this, and
so you were actually acting in good faith. So the thing with this is there has to be intent on your part, and obviously there wasn't intent. As soon as you realized you did it wrong, you immediately shut it down.
Right. The Supreme Court case for that is New York Times v. Sullivan. So New York Times v. Sullivan established the constitutional actual malice standard. They have to prove that you had knowledge so this standard applies to government and public officials. So in public figures. So you can say something false by mistake about a president or by your elected officials, as long as they have to be able to prove that you knew it was false when you said it, or you had a reckless disregard for the truth. So you have to just have objective stuff in front of you, this is false, this is false. You have breathing room to be wrong. If you type Andy Hester and there's a chief of police instead of a sheriff, and you mistakenly put it up, and then you take it down without them even having to ask you, it's just an honest mistake. If we lived in a society where every time somebody accidentally said something about a public official that wasn't true, that we could sue them, then everybody would be afraid to speak. And so I'll give you a little bit of the brief history. So New York Times v. Sullivan is literally it's a Supreme Court case. So it's the New York Times, the company, and Sullivan is the police commissioner, L.B. Sullivan, out of Montgomery, Alabama, during the civil rights movement. So the way we got this constitutional actual malice standard is because during the civil rights protests and the civil rights era, we all know the scenes, the black and white pictures of people being hosed down, attacked by dogs. The police were killing people. They were doing all sorts of stuff down there. And the big publications like New York Times and Washington Post and whoever else were covering this. And the corrupt officials in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, they didn't like this. So what they came up with is a scheme that we're just going to keep launching these defamation lawsuits against these publications to scare the publications so that they're not able to
tell the truth.
So that they're afraid to publish things out of fear of being sued. And at the time, there were hostile juries down there in the South. So they would launch these lawsuits and they would get these big ass nuclear judgments against these publications because the judges were hostile. It's the whole corruption system was still there. So one of the cases got to the Supreme Court, New York Times v. Sullivan, and the Supreme Court unanimously shot that down and established the actual constitutional malice standard that you have to prove that the person knew that the statement was false or had a reckless disregard for the truth. And reckless disregard for the truth is a really high standard. In the case, in New York Times v. Sullivan, the Supreme Court ruled that even though the New York Times had in its own possession documents that would have disproved what they published, you know, they were locked away in a cabinet or somewhere. Even though they had those in their possession and that was proved, that was still not enough to prove reckless disregard for the truth. It's like an unbelievably like impossible high standard. So accidentally, there's a sheriff, Andy Hester, and there's another guy. They look similar, and you mistakenly thought that it was them. There's no way that it's gonna survive in court. And in Georgia,
is that still open?
Well, so what I filed is it's being reviewed right now. Georgia has, even with the New York Times constitutional standard, Georgia has arguably the strongest freedom of speech laws in the country. I'll give them credit. Like Georgia, they got some of the strongest laws. They have what's called an anti-slap. If a public official files a lawsuit or anybody against defamation and it goes to your in furtherance of your free speech rights, you can file an anti-slap statute, and then it immediately pauses the entire case. The whole point of anti-slap is that SLAP stands for strategic lawsuit against public participation. So the whole point of the anti-slap motion, it stops the case, and then it makes the court, you have to address this right now and quickly dispose of this. And what they have to prove, so once you prove that it's in furtherance of your free speech rights, the burden shifts to the moving party, which is the person trying to do the defamation, the sheriff. And then they have to demonstrate a probability of prevailing with the New York Times v. Sullivan standard. So what happened?
It's going to be impossible because all you did was put him up for a few minutes or whatever it was. And once you realized it wasn't him, you took it down in good faith.
Right.
Like the exact opposite of the way they act in good faith.
Which is impossible. And the judge was doing funny business. But in this anti-slap statute, here's one of the key. So it's a couple things. For one, you're entitled to an immediate interlocutory appeal as a right to the Court of Appeals. So whatever the judge rules, you don't have to wait till the end of the case. It could be a year or whatever to appeal it. You can immediately stop the case. The court loses jurisdiction on that motion for your free speech right, and then it goes to the Georgia Court of Appeals. And Court of Appeals, they don't do any funny business because their rulings affect everybody in the state. Now, whatever the Court of Appeals decides, it affects however many people and everybody. It affects every newspaper, every media organization, television company, everybody on what the Court of Appeals does. So the check there in the system, there's no way that you'll get a goofy ruling. And it's sad that they have to put that provision in there because to stop, goofy judges from doing stuff they're not supposed to. So here's what the judge did in this case that's goofy. So when they filed this, so I'm looking at defending this defamation counterclaim. And when I was looking into all the stuff in the case, et cetera, I figured out that they didn't respond in their individual capacity. So when I sue for, you have to sue. You ever see lawsuits where they say, sheriff in his official capacity also sued in his individual capacity? I sued in both capacities. So the open records are in his official capacity, and the ones that you sue for money are in the individual capacity, intentional infliction of emotional distress. So because you can't sue for money on state versus a sheriff, you have to sue him individually. So his lawyers didn't respond, because when you file a lawsuit and you serve them, they have to respond within 30 days or they get what's called default judgment. You automatically win, and they're supposed to just bring in a jury and assess damages. They didn't file because they were so hard up on trying to come after me with this fake defamation claim. They didn't file a individual capacity response to the lawsuit until I moved for default judgment, which was 100 days late. And so the way it works in Georgia, after 30 days, you go into default, but you can open default as a right. You have a 15-day grace period where you pay court costs and you can open it. Then after that, you're in default by operation of law. And there's a bunch of stuff you got to do at the court's discretion. They have to file all kind of affidavits and this, that, and the third, which they did. But in one of the affidavits, I caught the lawyer lying. So he committed perjury, straight up perjury, where the court is going to have to address this. And there's a whole lot of stuff that we have to do going on. He committed perjury. He lied on a sworn affidavit. So at that point, they can't even open the default. But so they were in default. And then, so here's another thing. When they responded to my lawsuit and launched the counterclaim for defamation, they filed it in official capacity, which the Georgia Supreme Court, there's a Georgia Supreme Court case called Cox Enterprise has a funny name. It's COX. Cox Enterprises versus Carroll City Housing Authority. And the Georgia Supreme Court ruled unanimously that a government entity in their official capacity is, and they use the word absolutely barred. So they're using just absolute terminology. A government entity is absolutely barred from maintaining a cause of libel for defamation in Georgia. So the counterclaim was barred from the beginning, absolute constitutional bar, because they filed it in official capacity. Not only did they only file the answer in official capacity and they're in default for not responding to the lawsuit, they're default on all the individual claims, which is the money claims I sued for $800,000. The counterclaim was constitutionally barred from the beginning. But so this judge, which it'll have to be handled on appeal, just does some nonsense. He just allows it to go forward, which he shouldn't, and it'll have to be fixed on appeal. But so the case will move forward, except for this defamation. So what'll happen is he has to rule, and if he doesn't rule, because they have to put forth what's called a prima facie case. So they got to show that there's a probability that they could succeed, which they got discovery, which they shouldn't have. I had to sit for a deposition, which they shouldn't have, because I let the judge know that this is official capacity only, but he let it go forward anyway. So, but they weren't able to get anything because the truth wins. The truth is I just accidentally posted a video for, an hour or 2 hours and deleted it, and that's constitutionally protected. So there was no evidence that they could find. And
let me ask something, Ray. How, before this happened to you, before you were pulled over by the inbred guys, did you know any of this stuff, this legal jargon, or is it
not really? This shit drove me crazy, bro. Like I had to learn all this stuff.
You were just so angry, you just started researching this stuff, and now you're almost like a paralegal, the way I see it.
Yeah, they just because what's the option? I'm just gonna, for one, to litigate this stuff will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And you did it all by yourself, no lawyers at all?
Well, I use ChatGPT to help look this stuff up, and I use the ChatGPT and different AIs, and I use the paid versions, like the different ones cost $200 a month or whatever. And when you do legal research, you use what's called the deep research function, and it'll pull up the case laws for you with links, and then you click the links, and it'll take you to the actual cases from the different courts, and then it'll highlight in yellow the relevant stuff for you to read. So you literally read the stuff and then double check. Okay, you read and court decisions usually are not too long. A lot of them are only like 3 pages and 4 pages from different court of appeals and different Supreme Courts. Once you understand like the basic terminology of law, which they have all these stupid words, and like they say prejudice instead of harm, or like relief instead of just what are you asking from the court, all these stupid ass old
motion
words.
Instead of ask something, ask a question.
But once you figure out
request,
once you figure out the language, then you just can read the stuff, and you know how to read it. And words like shall versus may, if a law says the court shall, that means the judge doesn't have any discretion. If the law says a judge may.
Someone's asking which AIs you use specifically. You said
they're all good. They're all good. I would say ChatGPT is a really good one. ChatGPT, make sure you do the paid version and only listen to what it says with the deep research function. Like if you go to ChatGPT and just type some shit in and give me an answer, don't listen to it. You gotta use the deep research function where it'll take like 20 minutes to give you an answer, and then the answer will have all the links for you to go to the other websites and read the stuff. I never will have a court filing and just like everything I file, I vigorously
you dug deep to make sure it was correct.
Right. That's why, like, when you're asking me questions, I can just like literally quote you Supreme Court cases and stuff of things that I've had to deal with, because I read them. Like with another reasons that the criminal case got kicked out is because it got dismissed, is because they took over a year to try to bring it to trial, which you have a constitutional right to speedy trial.
Sixth Amendment. Yep.
Right. And I can tell you that, the 2 Supreme Court cases is the Wingo case, which establishes the prongs where, if it's approaching a year, your constitutional right is violated. The delays have to be on the part of the court and the prosecutor's not on you. It establishes the prongs that establishes when your constitutional speedy trial right is violated, And then there's a case that is called the strength case that establishes that if your constitutional speedy trial right is violated, that the only remedy is to completely vacate. It's not because a court tried to, a person got like a year in prison, and the court said his speedy trial right was violated, so we're going to take off 3 months. And the Supreme Court said no. The only remedy is completely vacate everything because that right is so sacred. But I'm just getting that. Yeah, so I look all this stuff up, and I don't just file shit that the AI says. I have to read it and make sure it's correct.
You spent a solid year doing this stuff, no?
Right. Yeah, okay. A solid year of like 12-hour days. Like
I know, bro. Sure. I binge watched everything, and at one point you're like, man, this is really discouraging, and I'm getting depressed, and it is depressing, man. I don't know how people do this.
I can never be a lawyer.
No, I mean,
it's the corruption, the corruption. And then they hide behind all this discretion. And even though some people get in trouble, we got resignations, criminal investigations, and all this stuff. But the way they are, what y'all talking about? The way this government corruption is gross. And I'm hoping that, and I don't know, brother, but I will say I think Southern Georgia is one of the worst. I don't think most of America has some level of corruption, but this whole good old boy stuff is fucking insane. And they get away with it because they're in rural areas. There's less oversight, small knit community where they can all work together. It's because a lot of the most corruption is in these middle of nowhere towns that are like in their own little bubbles. Little bubbles. A lot of stuff,
aren't you suing for one of them? One of the cases for $1 million.
It's like 800,000 or something. But a jury will ultimately decide, and they'll probably go a lot higher than that. Juries don't like government corruption. Like if I'm on a jury and there's textbook government corruption, I'm like, I'm sitting a nuclear verdict. You know, it affects everybody. Nobody, people, you know, imagine themselves in those situations. You have to send a message, you know. So yeah, okay. So they ended up being in default, and yeah, the judge temporarily saved them, but it'll be reversed on appeal, the default. And as far as the defamation, I don't care of that. I haven't took none of my other videos down. I'll say whatever about this sheriff. They don't scare me. You know, he launched a bullshit defamation claim. It's like a joke. There's no way it'll survive. And I shout out to Georgia because they have that. The thing that gives me complete peace is that they have that provision that allows for an immediate appeal. So that way, no low-level trial court can fuck with anybody because it'll automatically appeal. Georgia basically decide whatever somebody has to deal with their freedom of speech in any court in Georgia, it has to affect everybody. It doesn't get to go forward. It doesn't get to this or that. It goes to the Court of Appeals, and we're going to decide looking at it from a whole statewide, approach of evaluating it. So there's no way it survives. It's a joke.
And that's the only thing they got going against you, right? Everything else is really, you against them, right?
It's really nothing going against me. It's just a joke. Like it's like, and then also they have to pay me. Another provision is that they have to pay all my fees and all of my court costs and any legal consultations or anything. They have to just pay everything. So that's another provision in it.
How long do you think before this is all said and done?
This case,
yeah,
or the First Amendment stuff. This case.
Not the defamation part, the case you're filing against them.
I'm gonna appeal, or they're gonna appeal. It just depends on the outcome. So the appeal, maybe it takes a while. The case at the trial level probably be done in 6 months, something like that. And then they're gonna appeal, and that could take. I mean, the case isn't too complicated, but that could take another 6 months or another year. And there's no reason the Georgia Supreme Court would touch this case at this point. So it'd only go to Court of Appeals. So maybe like a year and a half.
That's the 11th Circuit, right?
No, it's just state court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm suing the state court for this current lawsuit. And then I'm filing additional lawsuits in the 11th Circuit, right? In the Georgia Federal Middle District Court in Macon, Georgia. Yeah.
Dude, right on, brother.
Yeah, we got to send a message, and, they can't just do this to people. And like I said earlier, they really can't afford this. These little small towns and their insurance companies, they can't afford to be doing this. This is costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. By the time all my litigation starts, it's going to be with start to finish, they'll probably be over $1 million in litigation and to lose. And because it's wrong what they're doing. They're not above the law. If you're going to be harassed, it's like with the whole court system there that I flipped upside down. If you're going to be like harassing people on the interstate, even if people are like, let's say people are speeding or whatever, if you're going to be policing for profit and fucking with people, at least make sure your court system is above board. Like, at least make sure you got a proper prosecutor to prosecute the cases. At least make sure you got a proper, public defender. Like, what are y'all doing? Y'all are just...
Like you said, though, Ray, 8 years ago, they were put on notice, and you're the first person. They've probably done this to thousands and thousands of people, and you're the one guy. See, you don't realize what a unicorn you are. You're probably not giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. Well, you do. 90, like you said in the beginning, 99% of America, even me, who kind of knows a little bit of law, I could not do what you did. I don't have the wherewithal and the drive, and it takes anger plus motivation to do what you did, man.
The motivation is like what you mentioned earlier, which apparently I can't, there's no way to really argue it in court. It actually hurts you if you argue it in court, which is crazy. Is we know the reason I was stopped. And it's like, okay, fuck this. I'm just driving and you get on the side of me and look at me and then you start all this for that reason. It's like, oh, fuck this.
Like, notions.
It's like game on. Another thing that is just boggles the mind to me, and it just goes to the level these people are all just corrupt, these judges, everybody involved, is the public defender working as the county attorney as well. Everybody in there knows that he's the county attorney, and then he's in there being the public defender. And you can say, okay, well, maybe the clerks and stuff don't know. These other judges know that's a conflict of interest.
They want it that way.
They know who this guy is, and they know what he's doing. He's a top official in the area. So they know this is going on here, and they're just allowing it to move through. That's what's one of the things that's just, crazy. And then local attorneys have to know that too. When a local attorney who works in the area is defending somebody, or, just in that courtroom, they know this guy is a public defender and he's the county attorney. So many people know that, and this went on for years. And
it almost sounds like conspiracy, honestly.
I think more stuff, like more people are going to get in a lot of trouble because, I'm just a lay person. I can only do so much from public records and look this stuff up and I uncover this. But these like FBI and GBI, they're taking this serious. There's serious investigation. They sitting people down. They doing real interviews. They're, the DOJ. And one of the things is when people are doing corruption. Oh, here's something I think viewers should know. When you get pulled over and you got corrupt cops and you see a corrupt courtroom, at that point, it's like, okay, this system corrupt. They make it get away with, which they didn't get away with it with me. But let's say if somebody they're getting away with doing corrupt stuff and you can't really prove it, all you got to do is look at whatever else they got going on. Look into their finances. Look, like the judge, his wife, which he's not allowed to do this. His wife owns a business where that public defender county attorney is the registered agent on it. The judge, Judge Rooney Bone, the same judge, also the county attorney public defender guy, his uncle gave the judge a house in a corrupt deal. When I say corrupt deal, they transferred it in what's called an arm's length transaction, which means declaring they don't know each other, but they do know each other. They're buddies. He's on it. The dang nephew is on the judge's wife's business as registered agent, doing business and stuff together. And so that's why, or like the prosecutor, you look at the other county, he's doing all this corrupt stuff. So the point I'm making is, when some people are doing some corrupt stuff, they just season with it and you can just catch them for other stuff. And that's what the feds usually do. There was this texting scandal with these cops texting all sorts of stuff that they weren't supposed to. And someone reported them. And then when the DOJ did the investigation, they found fraud and they found all sorts of other stuff. The texting may just been a ethical abuse, but if they're texting all this crazy stuff, they probably are corrupt as hell.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. Is that, there you go. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. So that's what really happened here. They were messing with me and I looked and it's like, oh, you got a dang a forest fire going on here, right? So
yes, sir. All right. So how about in closing, man? Unless you have a lot more to say, or in closing, let's give us a good closing statement here, man. I really appreciate your time out. We're going on 2 hours and I don't want to keep you too long. I see the monkey's getting a little restless too. So
he sees somebody outside. I would say we got to keep these people, scared, keep them afraid in the confines of the law. These people, they're like cockroaches. They're afraid of accountability. And a lot of these people are super cowards. These videos that we do on the internet of these people, they may act unfazed, but it just wrecks and destroys their reputation going forward. Whenever these people try to go up the rank and become public office or whatever, from people who do videos like your channel or Lackluster or the civil rights attorney or whatever, when these like little deputies and stuff do shit they're not supposed to and are plastered all over the interstate, the whole county knows. Nobody wants this person to, people aren't stupid. It stops them from getting into higher positions of power. So you keep these people afraid, keep them scared, keep them marked, make sure we do have a civic duty to let, other member of the public know. The defamation claim, and their attorneys watch everything, and I don't care, like, with regard to saying it's like the defamation claim, like, actually makes me happy. It makes me happy that, because what he's mad over is all the other stuff I talked about. Like there was this, he had a picture of a noose hanging inside of the sheriff's department and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
That's what he's really upset over, all the other stuff. And I like that you're launching a fake defamation claim at me for the other stuff, because it means it's really getting to you. It really means you don't like it. It really means you're feeling consequence. So you have this. So, I just go to that. Just keep exposing and keep them scared. Our government needs to be afraid of the people.
Guys, if this channel, you must watch. Go to his videos tab. I just put his link in the description. Go to his videos tab, scroll all the way to the bottom, and just start watching. You will not believe what Ray has done in the past year. My man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, dude, for finally coming on.
Yeah, anytime.
When you win your suit, take me to Top Golf.
All right, I bet.
Do you golf at all?
I mean, I'll do it for fun.
How about pool? You play pool?
Yeah, I play pool.
We could play some pool, man.
Yeah, we gotta link up sometime.
I'm glad you're my neighbor, man, and I'm so glad.
I'm not in Florida, but I'm in Florida.
When you are, whatever.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that I'm glad you got pulled over, but I'm glad you got pulled over, bro, because you're just a fucking amazing person, and you have so much damn drive and the patience of a saint to have a 40-year monkey. First of all, I can't thank you enough, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words, man.
You got my number. Call me anytime you want. Let's do something next time you're in Florida. I can't thank you enough. Everybody subscribe to, what are you calling your channel now? I call it Thabo and Ray, but it's Corrupt Cop Watch by Thabo and Ray. And he has all kinds of fantastic stuff on here. Scroll all the way down to this videos tab and start watching. You will not believe what this guy's been through and the fight he's been putting on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Much love, man.
All right, brother. Thank you.
I'll see you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye. Guys, this guy is something else, man. Like, he is something else. It's just unreal what he's been able to do by himself. Like just like J-Town fighting all their own thing. I'm good at running my mouth. I'm good at fast comebacks. I'm good at dissing you. I'm good at bullying the bullies. But this stuff, I can't do it. I can't do it the way he does. And you really need a certain type of angry motivation. I mean, when I started doing my trespass stuff, and I do have, see, I shouldn't say that, because when I was, see, look at all this. This is over my bicycle citations and my trespassing, DSK, okay, court stuff. Look at this. Look at these. Look at all this. Just so I can go see some stupid administrative judge that doesn't give a crap about the Constitution. I walk in there and I start spewing all this stuff, and they just laugh at you, bro. Look at this. I had, what is this here? A bicycle. When I got the bike, this is a retaliation ticket they gave me, where they took a picture of the front of my house and gave me a $500 fine for not having 2-inch letters on my house. Look at all this. Look. Oh, you can't see it. Look. So yeah, I've been through it too, man. And once is enough for me, man. It's unreal what you got to do. These are the people that are supposed to be fighting for you and protecting your rights, and you got to go through that type of. It's all digital now, but it's just, it's a ton of work, man. You know what would have been great is if the monkey jumped out of the car and just grabbed the swine by the neck. All right, that's it, guys. What's up, Harry Bird? Go to this guy's channel, man. Look at here. Go to the videos tab, scroll all the way down. It's just unreal what he did. It looks like he's covering all kinds of nasty stuff too, so that the cops do. Then the monkey, dude. Oh my God. This dog, that dog I have now that irritates me every day. I'm like, oh man, I wonder how long this dog lives. 12 years. Let me check. I love him and everything, man, but I'm waiting for him to get old and tired and slow down a little bit. Yeah, life under the microscope. You got it, bro. I might have to do that one day just for fun. I don't know. I need to watch a video. I wonder if I, like you said, the judicial canons and the requirement of your state's practice book. I wonder if I put that in a ChatGPT and told it to make me a instructional video, because I can't. Reading for me is horrible. I have to see visual and audio for me to learn, and I need to ask questions too. So, anyway, thank you so much, Ray, man. You are a beast. You guys, if you go binge watch his videos tab, you will not believe what that guy did. I know I'm repeating myself now. All right, guys. I'll see you. Thanks for joining. And Bay Area Transparency should be coming on soon. Chuck Bronson. And I'm going to try to get some more people for my birthday month. And yes, there's Thabo and Ray. All right, guys. Much love. See you later. Have a good night.